Alright, blue. Artistic Refusal. 6 mana. Convoke. Choose one or both. Counter target spell. Draw 2 cards and discard a card. So for 6 mana, it's like a Giga Dismiss. You counter spell and you draw 2, discard one instead of just drawing one. It has Convoke, so it plays well into like spirits type of cards. Seems still like way too expensive to see play in any deck really. Assimilate Essence. Counter target creature spell or battle spell unless it's control pays 4. If they do, you incubate 2. So it's like a bad-ish Essence Scatter. And you only get the incubate if they pay the 4. So it's like not totally dead in the late game. I mean, Essence Scatter sees a bit of play. When it's legal. It's probably worse than Essence Scatter. Scatter is better than this. Yeah, countering artifacts better than countering battles. Alright, let's move on. Aura, Convoke, +2/+2 flying, draw cards. Not a constructed card. Defender chat, 1 mana defender. Is this the card that makes Ban Truth top tier finally? So for 1 mana you get a 1 free defender. Blocks Ragavan. And then let's see, free, so on turn free, what do you get? You get a free when this creature transforms into completed conjurer, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. And then you can blink it back. You can blink it back to weird and then flip it again. Then blink it back and then flip it again. And then blink it back and then flip it again. And then blink it back and then flip it again. Hardbug actually messaged me about that card. And then I was like, is it good enough for modern though? And she was like, no comments. You didn't get it? You can play it, and then for 3 or 4 mana, you can blink it, you can flip it, get the card advantage, and then you can blink it and flip it back, and then blink it again, and then flip it back, and then blink it again. Called my PC for a second. I don't know, honestly, I think it's might be the best 1 mana defender for the ban deck anyways. I don't know if it's good enough, but it kind of fits the Soul Herder theme. Totally, I don't know about totally playable, but I'll try it. We can try it. Oh, for standard. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine defensive card. It's a fine control card. You need to be pretty desperate to block, like, I mean, there's not that many hyper aggro decks, right, in standards. Free toughness just doesn't cut it against most cards. So I don't think that card's good enough for standard. Blocks Thalia, but Thalia usually gets spawned by Rafine or something. It is a creature though, that is nice against Thalia. Better than Walking Bulwark. All depends on which deck. Alright, let's move on. Change the equation. Well, I guess, blue. Put it for captive weirds. And then maybe that card is more for Pioneer, modern. Invasion could be just Invasion could be like good enough for any formats really. Alright, a blue and a 1. Choose instant. Counter target spell with mana value 2. Oh, it's a flash freeze. Counter target red or green spell with mana value 6 or less. Someone was pointing out it doesn't counter Atraxa. Doesn't counter Atraxa, it doesn't counter Herd Migration. There's actually a few relevant cards it doesn't counter in Standard. The Nissa, if people play the 7 Nissa, 7 mana Nissa. What else? So when you're on the draw, like Esper Legends is a big thing right now, so that card's probably not main deckable because of Mono White and Esper Legends, even though you can still counter Bangbuster out of Mono White. Doesn't counter large creativity, it doesn't counter Titan of Industry. Change the equation is insane versus Ragdos Sack. I mean, counter stable, which is what I'm looking for pretty much in any format, especially Standard and Pioneer. Counter stable, counters 2-drops. Like, I don't think it's a main deck card in Standard, right now. Why doesn't it counter Giganta? Or tracks that really counts? I mean, occasionally. Better than Gust. Let's say you're playing Grixis right now in Standard. Would you want that card in your sideboard for some reason? Is it better than Make Disappear? Make Disappear goes dead in the grindy games. And mostly important to be able to counter Fable. Counters Fable throughout the game. Counters removal throughout the game. It's like, is it just a bad negate? Because you're countering Fable and removal. Okay, you get Harvester. He counters Corpse Appraiser, I guess. That's a pretty big deal. You think it's main deckable? I don't think you can main deck that against Thalia and stuff. I mean, when you're on the draw against the white decks and stuff, it's kind of a brick. Gus is better. Gus is probably a better Magic card. It's better than Negate versus Ragdos and Grixis. Doesn't counter Invoke Despair. It's kind of a big deal. Probably want to mix it up. Like, would you be excited to have 4 of that card against anyone in Standard? For sideboards? Probably not, right? It's probably too reactive still. Even if it's a good card. It's Monitoring Pioneer. It doesn't counter Karn. Counters a green spell. Would I want to mix that with my Gus / Negate / Dovin's Veto? Counter target red or green spell. Let's say blue-white or blue-black. Do you want that against Ragdos? Counters Bangbuster, counters Fable. I mean, Negate counters Bangbuster and Fable. And it counters a Go Blank. It counters, I guess it does counter Thoughtseize, so you miss what? You miss Go Blank and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a fine cards. Nothing too special. It's not gonna like it's not gonna salvage a matchup. It's not gonna like change much. And you might gain a tiny bit of percentage points here and there, but it's like seems pretty minor. Give a hotter take. Sorry. Yeah, no, it's insane. It'll solve every issue you have with Ragdos. Dude, it counters Bangbuster and Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And and Bone Crusher Giant and Blood Dice Harvester. It's basically counterspell against counters Amulet and the Titan. Yeah, because they never freaking have the uncounterable land when they cast their Titan. Counters Bloodman. Alright, the new Shark, the new hardcast Shark. 2/4 Chrome Host Seedshark. 2/4 flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, incubate eggs or eggs is that spell's mana value. I mean, it has okay stats, but does that card make sense anywhere? You could say it won't change the equation of a match. Yeah, exactly. Force of Will. Dang, it was the free spells? That's kind of nuts, actually. Great was Delve spells. Treasure Cruise? I mean, Ledger Shredder is great with Delve spells, and you don't see a lot of, besides Phoenix. Commandeer? Don't Tempt Me was a good time. So far for Modern, from what we've seen, probably just Invasion of Gobakan, if I had to guess, just because it seems like the most powerful card. The Captive Weird could be good in my Wool deck, and then the Night Ever on Avios could be good in something like Hammer Time or Devoted Rune, maybe, but nothing crazy. Alright, complete the circuit. 6 mana, Convoke, blah blah blah, cards unplayable, right? Or there's some infinite combo that's. When you cast sorcery spells this turn as though they had flash. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell twice. You may choose new targets for the copies. Alright, do I need to know anything about that card or can I move on? Only problem is paying 2 to turn the artifact into a creature. I mean, no, the only problem is your Shark living and not impacting the board or not having a coming to play effect and just dying to a removal spell that's 1 or 2 mana. Second Sun. Corruption of Towashi. 5 mana, incubate 4. So you draw a card in your incubate deck whenever you flip a thing once a turn. So for like 7 mana, you get a 4/4 cantrip on its own. That card's probably busted and limited. Blue and 1 flash enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, each player mills 2 cards. Enchanted creature gets -X/-0, where X is the number of cards in its controller's graveyard. I mean, something like that saw play, right? We used to play it gave energy, right? The 1 blue, it was what? 1 blue and 1 flash, -4/-0. And you got 2 energy. And that card still play. That's all similar. Counters Anvil, Mayhem Devil, Coco, Elves, Warness, everything in mono red aggro, every green elf force playing, every setup card elementals, Fable, probably way more things. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of card you have to do your in and out, and if you're missing, it could be versatile. That's kind of the cards you want. Usually you want to like tweak your deck, and having something like Change the Equation could be nice. Ether Meltdown, yeah. Alright, let's move on. Ephara's Dispersal. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets an attacking creature. Return target creature to its owner's hand, Surveil 2. 3 mana, instant speed bound, Surveil 2. So you played it. I mean, that one instant that gave you a treasure saw a tiny bit of play, right? When you need the treasure, it was not terrible and something like creativity. This is different. This is Surveil, only 1 mana bounce. It's a nice tempo play, but seems just not good enough. Yeah, way worse than Repulse. Expedition Lockout, 2 free defender, Merfolk Rogue. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in a graveyard, can it. Okay, unplayable. Eyes of Gitaxias. Draw a card, incubate free. Meh. With a Faerie Mastermind. Use card 2/2 mana, flash flying. Whenever anyone draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. Each player draws a card. So someone pointed out yesterday, I haven't thought about it. I think it was maybe so many dynamos, or I don't remember who, but mentioned that against Fable, if they draw, you draw. Against Raffine, if they draw, you draw. Against Invoke Despair, if you, that makes it. There's a lot of cards right now that see play. I mean, that Raffine feels really bad against that card. Just giving them a card every time. Looks like a sideboard card. I think it's a main deck card. I mean, maybe sideboard card in a control deck where you don't want to have creatures, and then after sideboard, they have to board out their removal, and you bring in Faerie Mastermind, and it's kind of awkward for them. It might just be good in, like, just any deck, really, in Standard right now. This Esper Legends. Also, it's good with Loran, right? Yeah, I saw it. Loran. It works with Loran. If you only kill Fairy and you end step activated, it's GG. Also, I think you, Jacoy, pointed out if you have multiples in play, it kind of becomes gross. They just stack. Rogue Pioneer deck, yeah. I was do Rogue and Explorer the other day. I was not ready for Rogue. You can flash it, yeah. Behold the multiverse, you know. Or like just sure. Just some blue-white mid-range deck, you know, was that card Loran. It works well with Bangbuster. It works well against Bangbuster. The 2/1 bodies, yeah, but I mean, it's just your engine, kind of. Just more flash. One sec. All right, Faerie Mastermind. What about for Pioneer? I mean, same deal, right? You've got can be annoying for Ragdos a bit. In dice to Stomp, so that part's not great. But like combos with Erta, yeah. Like I remember I was bringing in sometimes the Thief, the free one, for 4 mana against Rakdos, and it was not like totally terrible. I mean, this is worse. Like, you draw a card, they still draw. You don't just steal their draw, but it's also much cheaper. Phoenix is not popular. Maybe Rogue. Maybe Rogue's just a fine deck. I've seen people post on Twitter like good results was Rogue. You know, who knows? Who knows for every one person who does well with Rogue, people how many like do poorly. But Vesper moved back to make this pure Bangbuster style deck. It'd be at its best. Yeah, Letter Shredder's just better. I mean, it's just totally different. In Pioneer, no, but it's different. Yeah, Rogue. There's like Kaido in Rogue. There's the Planeswalkers go well. Was the new Planeswalkers go well with Rogue? I got owned by the 5 drop the other day, the one that brings back stuff from your graveyard. I don't think Rogues was missing a 2-1. I don't know. There's not that many good flash creatures. All right, Jack. Oh yeah, if people already have deck lists somehow. Feel free to share, especially when we get to these cards and stuff. I know what that card does. I mean, you lose a bit of value of the flash in your deck. I mean, you have no combos with Faerie. I don't even get it. What does Invasion do? Never Invasion Island. Each player mills 3 cards, then each opponent discards a card, and you draw a card. No, but I don't get what Faerie Mastermind does in your deck besides literal zero synergy. And I guess it's a fine 2-drop. We're seeing how it's a fine 2-drop in standard because so many decks draw cards. What about in modern? What's the meta in modern? Dice to Fire Ice, Dice Auto Removal. No one's really drawing cards. I mean, Fable, Dice to Ren. So probably won't see play in Modern, but you could see play in Pioneer, Flash Explorer. Alright, let's move on. Couple bricks. Invasion of Arcavios. Switch your library, get rid of. So just a tutor? 5-mana tutor? Okay, so it's like an insane card, but you have to flip it, which is never gonna happen. Okay, a card's just terrible, right? Session. Okay. All right, which one? I'm assuming the uncommon one's not playable either. Create 2. I thought this one was somewhat playable, right? 3 mana. You get 2 1/1s. Token with trample. Defense 4. Non-creature spells you cast have convoke and have entered on that. Oh, it's really weird. Why would you ever want that? None of the mono blue sagas are good. Okay. Well, if anyone disagrees, feel free to stop me, but we're gonna skip. Jin-Gitaxias. 5 mana, 5, Ward 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana 2 or greater, draw a card. Ward 2 is just not enough. Ward 2 means you lose it to a 2-mana removal spell and they're still trading up on mana. And you can't draw the turn it comes into play. 4 mana, exile it, then return it to battlefield, transforms. I mean, the upside is insane. Activate only as a sorcery, only if you have 7 or more cards in hand. Yeah, I mean, that card's unplayable, right? You can see it in mono blue to stabilize versus aggro. Which battle? Or the 1/1, the one that makes 2 tokens. Meeting of Minds. 4 mana, Convoke, draw 2 cards. So it's Inspiration with Convoke. I mean, Convoke's not feeling. You don't feel one that card in a. Can move on. There's some better creature inspiration. Moment of Truth. Oh, that card's cool, right? Look at the top 3 cards of the library, put one of those cards into your hand, one in your graveyard, one at the bottom. So it's mostly a better strategic planning. Well, depends. You're not likely to hit many cards you want in your graveyard unless you want like the full value, you know, the quantity of cards in your graveyard. Instant speed is nice. I mean, this is just a fine card. Anticipate sees a bit of play. In standard specifically, is there like would a blue control deck ever want an impulse? Impulse is literally legal in standards. So it's probably just worse than impulse. I passed Wilderness Reclamation at home. I don't know, I was told all the sagas are just bad. Negate. Card has potential. Oculus Whelp. Omen Hawker. Tap 2 mana, spend this mana only to activate abilities. Anything broken you can do with the Hawker? Bangbuster? Turn 1 Hawker, turn 2 Bangbuster, draw? It's not that bad. Anything else? Incubate, Cycling, Shark Typhoon. T1 Hawker, turn to Field of Rune. Hey Macy, good night. Rest well. I'm gonna be gone starting tomorrow, Macy, and everyone else for like 6 days or so. Be back next Tuesday, so probably next stream Wednesday. Blue Sol Ring. Yeah, Skang, I'm sorry. The in-laws are here. Omen Hawker. What about in Eternal formats? Like Modern Pioneers, anyone abusing that card in anything? I see random. Where am I going? Secret. We're going to Bretagne and then doing the castles, Les Châteaux de la Loire, the castles that are in like there's a region of France where there's a bunch of castles. Training grounds just better. Well, training grounds doesn't reduce to 0, does it? Mono blue Bangbuster, blue white, Field of Rune, castles. Yeah, kind of cool, but probably not good enough. Oracle of Strategy, 2 mana, 1 free. When it enters the battlefield, dice, choose 1, draw a card, and discard a card. Shuffle up to 4 target custom. So a loot, then another loot when it dies. Does anyone want this in any format? Blade of Sure Souls equip cost. That's a good one. Equip it to itself. It's like fodder for the blade as well. Dredge nonsense. 2 mana that attracts us in the gym. Oh yeah, no, there's not that many great options, right? Discard Ingrixis. It also like enables Corpse Appraiser potentially if you don't have anything already. Omen Hawker can also pay to flip Urza to a Planeswalkers. Scrap work much. I mean, this card's maybe better, but yeah. Mutt is standard. Yeah, I've got Rona. Alright, let's move on. Order of the Mirror. Oh, they reprinted a card like that. 2/2 flying for free, get a 1/1. Not bad. Limited card. Alright, Rona. I mean, Rona is the nuts, right? Nuts and S for Legend. Someone was saying it's infinite mana with Mox Amber and Retraction Helix. Is that a Pioneer legal combo? Yeah. Yeah, Rona's just obscene. It's good it was the Raven Man. Probably just gonna take Raven's Man. You just play it, you loot, you play Raffine, you attack with it, you loot again. Just fixes your draw. And it flips. Like, it doesn't even need the flip ability to be good. What does it do when it flips? 5/5 trample. Whenever a source deals damage to Rona, Obliterator that source controls exiles a card from their hand at random if it's one. Wow. I mean, that card seems like insane. Can be your own source. Oh, yeah. You can play your cards for free. Yeah, I mean, that's for Legends. Mox Amber, Retraction Helix. Need Mark Tobiash to hit us up with a Rona list. Brotherhood's End to cast my Atraxa for free. Yeah. What other source of damage are there that you kind of play naturally? Just a burn spell, a random burn spell. Grape Shot, your Rona. Mayhem Devil. I mean, you need to flip it first. Probably don't want to build your deck around this. Alright, I mean, Rona's just seems great in at least these two formats. I mean, people literally play Esper Legends in Pioneer. What about Modern? Is that card gonna be good in Modern? Play Omnath. Play Ren and 6. Could be a good 2-drop. Blocks Ragavan. Maybe in a Persist deck. Dedicated, could play blue-black Asmo deck, the deck I was playing yesterday. Play Rona as your enabler. How many legendary spells do you have besides Asmo? Not that many, though. Mox Amber, Retraction Helix is a combo. Infinite mana. I wouldn't play Rona as your only target for cut down. Yeah. Probably have others. I mean, let's put Rona for Modern. Probably not good enough for Modern, but who knows. C double, 4 mana. This spell can't be copied. Choose one. If an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you may choose both. Bit like Into the Story. Copy target spell, you may choose a new target for the copy. Create a token that's a copy of target creature. Someone, I feel like we saw that card and someone mentioned something sweet was that, but I can't remember. Rona plus Desert, the lands that pings an attacker. C double is great for the Dispel can't be copied line. I don't get it. Are you trolling or am I missing something? This is better than Blue Suns. So you copy a Shield Red, you play that in your control deck. You get to 4 mana. You get to copy their best creature. Not very good against Graveyard Trespasser or Bone Crusher Giant. Feels pretty bad. Copy target spell. Seems bad. Could be a sideboard card against like Thought Distortion, maybe. You still get hit, but at least you hit them as well. I don't know. It doesn't seem that good. 2 mana, 2/1 Merfolk Scout flying. Two one flying for 2 that draws you a card for 4 and becomes a bit bigger. 4 and a life. Merfolk Scouts. It's close, probably not quite good enough. Stasis Field. That card just worse than the business person one. Probably. Four blue and X instant convoke drugs cards. Wicked Slumber. This card is usually pretty good and limited. Might be better than Witness Protection in mono blue. Uncycling. I was saying one of the first cards was that card, Plane Cycling. Like the 6 mana card's kind of relevant. Plane Cycling fixes your mana, it gets you a Triome. It's good at setting up binding and stuff. The card was a tiny bit better. Maybe you could play them, but they're a little too bad. 2/2 Flying Vigilance. Convoke. 4 mana, 3/4 Flying Siren Pirate, Flying Vigilance, Convoke. Nah, that card seems bad too. Late game counter attracts and trigger 2 times attracts his ability, not bad. What are we talking about? Xerex is busted in cube. Activate only if you've cast 2 or more spells this turn. What? Alright, let's move on. Black. Etherblade Agent.